8:52, and we are continuing our coverage of this major story, really right in the heart of the valley, if you think about Tempe and Tempe Town Lake. And this is a bridge that was built back in parts of it in 1912. It was erected in 1915. And we had a major collapse and derailment. Troy Barrett, you've been doing a really good job this morning getting us a bird's eye view of what's happening. And it looks like now, we were wondering when you went away how they were going to end up fighting this fire in the middle of the lake, and it looks like they've come up with something here.
Yeah, they've gotten creative here. Tempe Fire has decided to drag some hoses from the north side onto the light rail bridge, which is just feet to the east of the bridge that's on, or the train that's on fire, and they are spraying some water on that car there that you see that's full of lumber that is completely engulfed in flames right now and growing from the front half to the back half of that train car. We're still getting word from Sky Harbor that it's still a possibility that they might bring in some firefighting helicopters. They're still talking about that, but again, we haven't heard anything official. But over there on that light rail bridge, you can see that they do have some hoses going, and they're spraying it from that side. That's really the only way that they can reach that fire that's in the middle of the bridge, in the middle of Tempe Town Lake right now.
You know, as we continue to watch, Troy, you see those splashes down below, and every once in a while you see a big chunk of just wood fall down. You wonder about the structural integrity of this, 100-plus-year-old bridge as it burns here, and how is that iron going to stand up to the heat, or the steel, or whatever it's made out of there,
Yeah, absolutely. We've been watching that for the last hour and a half, those big chunks of wood just falling off into Tempe Town Lake, and we've been pretty worried about it as well. I know that Tempe Fire just gave you an update on some of the information that they have. We were looking at these two tankers in the front here nearest to the fire, and one of the placards on there says that whatever's inside is a corrosive material. We weren't able to find out exactly what's inside, but whatever it is corrosive as far as what the placard is telling us there. The rest of this situation is pretty incredible. Most of the flames are out on the south side of not only the bridge, but the fire itself. This original section here with that lumber car that was on fire earlier, it looks like Tempe Fire has got a nice handle on that. And of course the bridge collapse over here with two tankers on the ground, one dangling from the tracks touching the ground, and then we have three of these other cars here. We took a look at that earlier, and it looks like there's possibly grain inside, maybe corn or something like that.
Yeah, you can see, I mean, that's a good thing. And Troy, the other thing that I think is pretty incredible, well, now that I'm looking at this, go down on that stack of wood down there. Isn't it interesting that you've got all that stack of wood that's kind of sitting there? It's almost like...
I'm sorry, which one did you want me to look at?
Okay, so right in the middle of your screen, it looks like there's a bunch of railroad ties kind of laying next to each other. Go down, go down, go down, now to the right a little bit. See all them sitting there? Do you think those are part of the collapse, or do you think those are kind of sitting there as they were getting ready to do something to the bridge, work on it?
Yeah, it looks like they're piled up ready to be part of the bridge, as it has a little bit of a parking lot that's right by, and some porta potties, as a matter of fact, right by this area where the train tracks turn from the ground, and then you see those trusses that are underneath, those very old sections with the wood under there, and the wood itself, you can see where the collapse happened. It's just splintered. It's just really incredible to look at how destroyed the wood is under there, and those train cars just strewn about on the ground down there.
We had a witness very early on in our coverage say that he talked to somebody down there who said there was some kind of work going on that end of the bridge, and it looks like, to the untrained eye here, but it looks like that is at least it looks to me like a construction site, or at least there are materials laid out there like they're getting ready to use them. So who knows what they were doing right in this exact area.
Yeah, absolutely. It certainly looks like it is a possibility that they might have been working on the tracks themselves at some point here with those piles of wood that are there in that section, but we certainly will learn something more from Union Pacific, most likely, about what really was going on down there, if they were actually doing any construction whatsoever. Taking a look back now at the firefight on that car that has the lumber on it, it looks like they might be getting a pretty decent handle on that with shooting some water from the light rail bridge just to the east.
All right, Troy Barrett live for us now as we continue our coverage, and we're going to have more of the day's news for you after.